What are you supposed to be? Hello everyone and welcome back to Killer Shrew Fans Killer Toy Reviews. Today we are very excited to bring you yet another review of the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom toy line. I know, it feels like that's all we ever do around here nowadays. I promise we'll get back into other reviews, but for now, this is what's in, this is what everyone's talking about, this is what everyone wants to see, and with that in mind, today's review is going to be of this. The Roarivore Baryonyx, new for the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom toy line. This video was actually requested by Spino Guy / Spinosaur Slasher, one of our all-time biggest requesters on the channel. Thank you so much for this request. Gave us an excuse to break this guy out of the packaging. Now, as with many of Mattel's dinosaur models, this one cannot be put back into its packaging.
You can't put it back in the box.
So, after we do our little review today, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we are going to take a look at the packaging, gonna snip him out, and then we are going to give you guys a closer look. So without further ado, let's do this! So if we start off in the top left corner, you've got the Jurassic World logo all cracked up in keeping with the theme of the island being gone. The bars of the cage in keeping with themes of removing dinosaurs from the island. Owen in blue in the bottom left corner, a 3+ years warning, the Baryonyx title, part of the Roarivore's lineup. And in the bottom right corner, a little diagram of the action feature that comes with this dinosaur. The box art itself features the forest of Isla Nublar being silhouetted against the explosion of Mount Sibo in the background. Lovely eye-popping colors back here. Very, very much an attention getter on the shelf, let me tell you. You've also got a push-button indicator so you can try this toy out in the store, and then we come back to the logo. The back of the box features a diagram of the Baryonyx along with a few other things that we're going to give you a closer look at. First of all, it tells you how to operate the darn thing. Push button for sound and chomping action. Lovely diagram of the Baryonyx. And the top right corner features the Jurassic World Facts app reminder telling you to download the app so that you can get in on the digital action of Jurassic World. The bottom left corner features all the other dinosaurs available in the Wave 1 of the Roarivores. The Metriacanthosaurus and Triceratops have been reviewed on the channel, linked down below, and the Allosaurus is on its way. Alright, now that is enough hullabaloo about all of this packaging. Now, as I said before, this one cannot go back in the box, so we are not really going to do a huge unboxing thing for you today. We're just going to bring in a pair of trusty scissors here and get over ourselves, I guess. I hate this. No one said it would be this hard. This doesn't feel right. Now I'm angry about it. Here I am getting up the guts to do it, and these scissors won't even... I could just open it, I guess, and peel that part out. No, this is about overcoming my fears. Okay, so here is the Baryonyx, within the funget in the thingy. The Baryonyx out of her cardboard prison. We did end up just sliding this piece out and undoing this plastic band up here. But as you can see, she is still missing something, and that is her tail. So if we kind of slide back in here, we can, well, there's an easier way to do this now with this unboxed. You can come back here, untape these other plastic holdy things that are kind of keeping everything in place. If you untape those, you can just slide this off, and you can retrieve both the tail and the instructions from the back there, and that's all there is to this packaging. Get out of here, I don't even want you anyway. And then the instructions here, pretty self-explanatory stuff, really just tells you how to pop the tail in, how to activate the sound gimmick, how to repair the batteries, or replace the batteries, excuse me, and everything that is included. So, here is the two pieces, here are the two pieces included with this box. You've got the Baryonyx here, and then the tail. The tail just kind of snaps into position. Alright, it's a one and done thing, no going back after this. Well, maybe this is God's way of telling me I shouldn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What the... This is taking an exceptional amount of force on my part. Oh, finally! It clicked right in there. So yeah, it took a little bit of force, but we got it in there, and there is the Baryonyx standing in all of her glory. And I gotta say, out of the box, she feels great in the hand. A very good size. Kids are going to love this. But without further ado, I think it's time we give you guys a closer look at this model. And as always, we are going to start at the head. So if we start off a review with the head, as we usually do, as you can see, I think this is a very well sculpted head. It is incredibly Baryonyx in shape. I think the snout could stand to be a little longer, but as far as an action figure goes, I think it's pretty well done. You've got scales of varying sizes, a lovely yellow eye staring out from a socket. It is seated very well in the skull there. The fenestral areas are pretty prominent, but you have got lovely musculature in the lower jaw, as you can see. Taking a look at the mouth, you can see that all of the teeth have been individually sculpted. There is a subtle palate sculpted in there as well, lovely detail, and then the tongue has been sculpted and textured into the mouth as well, but just the fact that those teeth are all individually sculpted is awesome. Unfortunately, they did not paint the cheek flaps there. Everything else is painted pink inside the mouth, but they left those brown. Really wish they had gone the extra mile and done that for us, but you know, what can you do? Moving down the neck, you've got some lovely wrinkles and scales of varying sizes and shapes adorning that entire surface area. You've also got the start of sort of crocodilian-like scales going across the dorsal region at the back of the skull, and they get to be more prominent once you get to the midsection here. Here you can also get a great sense of the creature's underlying anatomy. You can see the scapula sculpted in there, along with the rib cage. You've got ribs poking out there. And once we get to the thigh region, you can see some lovely wrinkles forming up and bunching around the thigh. So a lot of great sculptural details in the midsection. And then, of course, the scales, which are all just so beautifully sculpted into that surface area, continue all the way down to the length of the tail. And you can also see some tendons pulling as the tail is flicked and twisted slightly, which is just glorious, glorious details that they put onto this model. Going back up the opposite side, it's really the same story. Scales of varying sizes, lovely tendons, wrinkles, folds of skin, all that nonsense. The alligator-like scales starting kind of at the torso and continuing all the way up to the back of the skull. The rib cage there, the scapula, lovely folds of skin where gravity would be working at them. And it all just comes back up to that very well done Baryonyx head with the open mouth. The arms on this Baryonyx feature some lovely sculpted musculature, and again, the scales have been sculpted into this surface area as well. And they also feature the signature claw of the Baryonyx. I think it could stand to be a little longer. Unfortunately, the claws are not painted, but just the fact that they included that big claw is pretty awesome to me. The feet feature painted black toe claws and lovely sculptural details with like tendons pulling up around the ankle region, and they even sculpted in the dew claw, which I think is very awesome. The legs also feature various areas of muscle tensing, especially in the thighs. You can see the muscles tensing up there, and it really is very well sculpted. The amount of attention that Mattel paid to the sculpture on these models, it really deserves to be praised. I mean, it has to be mentioned. If we look at the underbelly, you can see you have got some lovely muscles in the jaw, along with wrinkles in the throat region, and the scaling is used to cover the entire underbelly. We also come to the rotted looking sound area where the sounds come out of. A little disturbing to look at that. Don't know why they chose to go in that direction with that look. But on the back of the left foot, you can see the Jurassic World QR code, which you use to scan into the app that I mentioned earlier. So, oops, didn't mean to zoom in that far. We're going to give you a nice clear look at that so that you can scan that into your phone. There you go. Now's your chance to do so. Don't say I don't ever do anything for you. Nice clear look. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Feel free to. And then the other foot features the Jurassic World coat of arms, if you will. It has been moved from the thigh to the bottom of the foot. Now, as far as the paint scheme goes, it is pretty simple and straightforward, but in no means boring. I mean, they kind of got this brownish gray color going across. It was molded in that color, and then they've got a sort of navy blue dorsal striping and spotting going all the way down to almost the tip of the tail. I do have a little nitpick, but we'll get into that. And then the head. The head on this Baryonyx features a very unique element that I have not seen on another dinosaur toy, but I actually quite like it. It is this metallic blue stripe that they have going on. I think it's very eye-catching. I mean, look at how it catches the light. You'd think this wouldn't work on a dinosaur, but I just love that detail. Now, the tail paint does go almost all the way down to the end, but I do have a nitpick. You see the point at where the tail connects to the body, there is a huge gap, a huge difference between the paint on the main body and then the paint on the tail. So they don't really line up, so you kind of get this harsh ending and then restart on the tail. It looks like the paint isn't even there when you display it like this. So, talk about being so close, but so far. Now, of course, we have to show you the action feature of this Baryonyx. It features about 5 or so different unique sounds, and we are going to display them here for you. And whenever you sort of trigger this button in the back, the jaw snaps shut and the sounds go. So, Baryonyx, do you have any words for the viewer today? Okay, that sounded like a T-Rex trumpet, but anything else on the matter? That was definitely a T-Rex. Are you sure you're not plagiarizing this speech? Okay, that was another T-Rex. Baryonyx, I'm starting to think you don't have any original ideas. Okay, prove me wrong, why don't you? Any parting words for our viewers today? Thank you very much for your time, Baryonyx. So yes, we have got about 4 or so different sounds, many of which are just recycled T-Rex sounds. I just don't understand why they do that. I mean, maybe one, but almost all of those were T-Rex sound effects, which is just so unfortunate on such a unique dinosaur that is new to the franchise. This is the chance to bring a new sound to the franchise, and they just didn't. They didn't use any. I mean, I can't imagine they used T-Rex bellows for the actual animal in the film, so why couldn't they just get those sounds on a flash drive or something and stick them into the program that they use to make these roars? I don't know how toys are made, don't give me that, but still, it seems like such a basic concept, coming up with an original and unique sound. They did it for the Metriacanthosaurus. The Metriacanthosaurus had no T-Rex repeats. This one is almost nothing but T-Rex repeats. If you're gonna reuse a sound, reuse the Spinosaurus sounds. This was a Spinosaurid. Give us a Spinosaurus sound. The other issue that I have with this model is that it has that permanent open mouth position, and I think a lot of people have commented on that. They would rather have it... Are you finished? They would rather have it in this sort of permanent closed mouth position, and then when you push the button, the mouth opens and it lets out a roar, rather than having the mouth closed, or excuse me, rather than having the mouth hanging open, and then once you close it, the roar comes. That doesn't make much sense. And I know I'm just really kind of nitpicking this model, but it is so fantastic in all other departments that I feel like these nitpicks have to be said. They came so close to giving us a near-perfect toy, and then they just kind of tripped in some areas. It doesn't really kill the toy for me, but it definitely detracts from it. Now, as far as the articulation goes on this Baryonyx, it's pretty much what we've seen before. The arms can be rotated out, and you kind of get this classic sort of roar dinosaur pose, like he's roaring at an unsuspecting prey item and then scaring them away. But then they can move in, up, and then back down. Something interesting to note is that the palms are sculpted facing mostly inwards, which is pretty cool for the more scientifically oriented dinosaur collectors out there. But yeah, so the arms feature a wide variety of movement. The back legs, you can rotate them forward, outwards as well. they kind of have that outward point, and you can move them back in. That really just helps with stability. The legs go pretty far around, but they do have their usual sort of snap-in points. You can see them kind of just snap into place there. That really just prevents the joints from wearing out over time. But the back legs, ooh, didn't mean to trigger him. Triggered. Okay, yeah, you get the idea. The back legs can rotate pretty far there, so a lot of articulation offered, and if you'd like, you can even kind of pose him in a sort of swimming pose to kind of go along with the theme of a semi-aquatic dinosaur, which I think is pretty neat and gives you a lot of display options. And then I really like this sort of reared back walking pose that you can put him into. Really gives him a more threatening look if he'll balance, but that I think is very cool, very active, very fluid. I mean, this, and then of course the jaw also can open and close and roar and everything. So, you know, a lot of articulation on this particular model. Now, as far as the overall size goes, you're looking at right around 13 inches from the tip of the tail all the way to the front of the snout, and then about 7.5 inches from the base all the way to the highest point when you rear him back. And now for a quick size comparison, we'll go ahead and bring in the two other Roarivores we've taken a look at. We've got the Metriacanthosaurus and the Triceratops here. Oops, they're gonna fall. Oh, everyone's falling over here. Okay, come on, guys. We can do this, can't we? Everything's falling apart and it's all my fault. Okay, here they all are, standing together, and I gotta say, I think these toys are incredibly play-compatible. As you can see, the Baryonyx seems to be the tallest of the bunch, but I just love how these toys can kind of interact and play. I think kids are gonna have a blast with this. Oh, this is so great! Oh my gosh! And then the Baryonyx emerges victorious. Next up for size comparison, we're going to go ahead and bring in our personal favorite of the line so far. It is, of course, Carnage the Carnotaurus, and as you can see, he stands a little higher than the Baryonyx, and he could honestly, if he wanted to, probably make a short snack out of the Baryonyx, given his obvious size advantage that we're talking about here. But that's just Carnage, you know. The Baryonyx might be in for a bit of a fight here. Yeah, get him, Carnage. Yeah, that's it. Go for it. Oh, man. Mattel, you did such a good job. And, of course, we have our good friend Chris Pratt. Chris, thank you so much for being here for our size comparison today. Where the heck's the dinosaur? Well, it looks like Chris Pratt should have been paying more attention. But as you can see, he's the perfect snack size for our Baryonyx. Well, everyone, that is going to do it for our look at Mattel's new Baryonyx Roarivore for the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom toy line. Overall, this is a fantastic model, very well sculpted. I love the articulation points, the detail. Everything is fantastic. I have a few nitpicks with it, as I do with most things. I mean, obviously the paint on the tail is kind of a bother. The fact that they used almost all T-Rex sounds for the gimmick is pretty annoying, but what can you do, you know? Now, the magic question, who done it better? Kenner? Mattel? Obviously Hasbro is disqualified because they weren't, they didn't give us a Baryonyx, but I don't have my Kenner dinosaurs with me now. Instead, I'll provide pictures, and honestly, from just looking at the pictures and knowing what those other ones are like, I am going to award this to Mattel. Hands down, this Baryonyx just takes the cake. And honestly, I think it is my favorite Roarivore out of the original Wave 1 that Mattel has given us. As always, I would love to hear what you guys think of this model. Do you own it yet? Are you going to track it down? What's your personal favorite of the Wave 1 Roarivores? Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments section below. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into our video today. I love the support. If you enjoyed our look, don't be afraid to let us know by hitting that like button. And also, don't forget to subscribe on the way out, as we got a lot more reviews coming your way. Thanks again for tuning in, and that's going to do it for us. Killer Shrew Fan, out.